You knew fully well that all you were doing was just intended to window dress this issue and bury it under the carpet.
Amunta albe men ko to ndoro wala kanyin ko nyarandi kay tandiro ke ko albe ko kata kan barisatara duma amanke wonyati pour ka molu nyama sansan doron.
But you knew fully well
yes,
that this matter belongs to immigration.
yes.
But the person you were giving directions to investigate was the IGP. Isn't that what happened?
Council, yes.
But isn't that wrong in the first place? This is a matter for immigration.
Yes.
And you bypass immigration and you ask IGP to investigate.
No. Part of my council. And the police have better investigators. Maybe they be investigating other things. The immigration will investigate matters related to immigration.
Investigation sitama ko kisi.
But
just wanted some small information, but that will not be sent to the president.
Wasn't this an immigration issue?
We all know about it.
So who was the best suited to investigate an immigration issue? Was it police or was it immigration?
Immigration themselves.
Immigration ko jumala fam nyanda tarra ko nyintala ka ko cases immigration number for police
immigration famale nyanta kala
okay
down there
but just here
okay.
You knew fully well that immigration was responsible.
Yes.
Ni sene ate mala ko immigration nem marata ko la
ha could you answer now?
Yes, immigration is the sole responsible.
Instead of tasking immigration to investigate, you ask the IGP to investigate.
No, that's a team.
Imadi ka ajarta ka ananya no kadi immigration na imo ke bari nyara na ya ta ya di police.
It's a team.
Aidi bebni aje ngoke umu wari den na kafolem den no le nyanta kala.
Mr. Jatta,
if the police will come in, for sure the immigration will come in.
Police
will come in. The
immigration be mabela le, drugs squad, NDE be mabela le.
Sorry.
Mr. Jatta. Mr. Jatta, you are doing your somersaults again. You told us quite clearly that you tasked the IGP. You did not task any other institution. So don't try to change the situation. You tasked the IGP. You never asked immigration to investigate. That's the truth.
At our meeting, yes. Now we are going to stand again. When I say I have turned to the left. Look, this is a task force. This is a team. When we do things,
there was no task force.
The purpose of mentioning the IGP here.
There was no task force.
Police. No. Wait. This is our internal thing.
There was no task force.
No, that's not task force. What I'm saying, but the police were the most senior on the ground. So what we have all this.
Baboucar, you know that statement is not administratively correct. Okay. You know that.
You tell me because you know about it, not so. I'm telling you, there's no hard and fast to the implementation of
police. Are not senior to immigration.
What? No.
Exactly.
There were attempts for police to come under immigration.
Yes, but that didn't happen. Baboucar, you said you asked for investigations, but you asked the wrong institution.
Okay.
You agree
to that?
You agree.
And even though the 8 killings or the 8 dead bodies that were discovered, that act was not investigated. You know that. You know it was not investigated.
What we do in security, we have a small bit of information that we gather.
On the last TRRC, was it that
NIA guy who was able to provide the list.
Naje jan TRRC mosutun tamay kibaru di.
Would have been in trouble, not so.
Look, if you people knew that he had the list, probably he would
He
be
would have
dead.
been in trouble.
No, he would not be in trouble. He'd be dead by now.
That's trouble. I'm holding to that list.
Okay, produce the list, Baboucar. So you don't have it with you?
Holding information.
Okay, we would
even if I have to keep it.
Baboucar.
For what purpose?
Let's exercise discipline and you just answer questions. But after the death of these 8 people, you knew that there were other West African migrants
in that Monday. I have a clue that they were with us. If I had known that, I would not access it. I would tell them to keep them wherever they want to. But it's a perennial problem, even at the prisons. Let's go ahead, please.
Throughout those days, the government of Ghana was making requests.
Yes.
Did you ask about the others who were?
He met the president. And what the IGP told me. IGP he appealed to the president to release those adults.
The rest of the group were not immediately killed. They were killed over a week later.
Systematically. I said systematically. I get to know that. How comes I up there? The new one.
The new what?
The new police line.
Police line Kutoto.
Which was where?
The old one is by St. Augustine's.
St. Augustine's.
By Crab Island.
Kutamanyi wala be Crab Island mafangala.
Crab Island?
Crab Island. I'm going to Crab Island end. That's police line.
Yeah, New Line.
Police line. Yeah, I visited that place.
Where was New Lines?
New Line Benumindole.
What's Crab Island?
Wala be Crab Island bala.
What? The one at St. Augustine's is the old line.
No, that is New Lines.
Remember St. Augustine's wala line
then I was referring to that older one.
They are almost adjacent.
They are next to they share fence with St. Augustine's.
Yes, that is, it
then you have the fence of the mosque.
Shares fence with St. Joseph's and St. Augustine's. It's demolished now. That is New Lines.
Okay.
And Old Lines is right next to the mosque.
After the mosque, going towards Crab Island.
Yes.
New Lines there. Okay. That's police barracks.
I was born and bred in Banjul.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I came from Tujara.
No wonder. No wonder you thought it was near Crab Island.
Yes. So I questioned the IG. I said, do we still have? If George hadn't called me to tell me that the foreign affairs minister was here, I wouldn't have known.
In George Mankili Kafanyan Kunyla, Minister Luntamanata Jan, and Talola.
Abukar, are you suggesting that throughout your period as Minister of Interior, you did not know that these West African migrants were killed in this country?
We know that. It no. Not take lie. It did not take. No. Already there was a witness too.
No.
There was an escapee. And you see, for every crime you commit, people can trace it through somewhere that the others were being shot dead in this country. Something has happened. And that, for those of us who don't have access to talk to the top and so on, or who are in charge.
Are you privy? Do you know for a certain that the police participate?
Yeah, Tonya. Katu nyininkaro dolu ketanya bilman soto ila alibi.
Do you accept?
And I know that they have tampered with diaries.
And lonko diary olu police la kibaru kulu kasafeda menuto.
Why did they tamper with the diary?
Sit on information.
If
we couldn't get any, IG is responsible.
If
the state questions about it, I should be questioned. I know for sure.
That is why we are asking you.
Wala sabu bibe sirang kan be nyin ka kan.
When we have flip-flop answers and questions from the services, how do you come to a conclusion? I was convinced that that will be a cover-up for sure.
Baboukar, do you think you are an effective Minister of Interior who was just there, not knowing what was happening in the institutions for which you were responsible?
Their characteristics.
When you give me an okay. Nganna palaso fale nun adun nibe nyaton ko la kumo fala mo la kumo fo men ya la palaso fa.
From the answers you have given,
it up to IGP be men ke kam.
I'm coming to that. Yes.
Let me
answer you first. Allow me to learn.
Do you accept that? You did not know what the IGP was doing.
All right.
You clearly did not know what the IGP was doing. Did not know how many people were killed in this country.
Yes.
You clearly did not know that the IGP was in fact.
Yes.
But you knew that the government was covering up its actions.
Yes.
You gave a blind eye.
You
gave a blind eye to what was going on. True? You were not interested.
Fine. Let me just answer that. IGP to be directly under me. I did not disregard that he should not be talking to the president. But we were able to control this. I was able to control this order service chiefs. I cannot control the IGP because every other state house is answerable to the president. Yes, he should be answerable to the president. Order is used.
What?
But
Bari.
It is his duty to inform us what's going on. But sometimes for 3 months I will not see the IGP. What do you want me to do? If you take a man of that caliber, he has no idea whatsoever on police duties. Take him to lead the police. What do you expect? Crisis. Every time we have to readjust a demand, keep adjusting demand.
You knew he was a known killer.
He's a known?
He was a known killer.
He was known for killing.
Yes.
Yes.
You knew that.
But I can't count on what incidents did he ever kill.
Of course, you know about Almamo Mane.
Thank you for reminding me.
He organized and participated in the killing of Almamo Mane. And this is common knowledge in the military.
Almamo Mane la fa atele abengo be tabi landi ku atele ko nyimbeta landi ndung nyimulondi la mialon ko sojar kundado jamaa alon.
I was involved in the planning
of the killing.
To arrest them.
And then?
He would have done it neat. would have arrested all of them like what happened to Landing Sane.
Bebe mutalale nun komen keta Landing Sane la.
It was decided that I take the lead.
Bari adu nyin kawle futa purunte sa nyaton kaya.
And I said, I don't go to State House by this time. When they see me, it could be another problem.
Nko bari nyin tembe mtita la State House. Ni nya yenye asike kudoti.
Arrest these people, send somebody who knows the State House.
Luka nyi molu muta modo kime ye State House long.
So it's when Malia Musa Jammeh,
Dalilo le ya sabu Musa Jammeh
Usman Sonko were assigned.
ya do ko di ate Musa Jammeh ni Usman Sonko lela. Purkate muta.
Who assigned them?
The President's office, because this is State House.
The President office does not assign. It is the people in the President's office who do so.
President.
What's his name?
Yaya Jammeh.
Yaya Jammeh.
And in fact, he authorized that these people, that Almamo, be liquidated.
That could be an instructions. But if we had gone by my plan, they would have arrested him.
Ala kandiri multi barnata ita tantela fero la numbe mutalale.
Those who killed him are known to the state.
When you are far, Mansa, more than Melanco, told one yard Mansa can.
You were what at the time you were, and there was not one interview of any one single person who knows something about that killing. Correct?
Tonya?
It was stated.
What was said? What was stated?
There was no investigation.
That was wrong.
That was
We have to make sure we have a clean record.
Okay, sorry.
There was no investigation.
Yes.
And that was wrong. That was wrong.
The culprit was taken to the court martial, and their names were
Was Landing the culprit?
the leader. They were all taken to court martial. He has the opportunity to explain what happened.
Mr. Jatta, we are not talking about Landing Sane. We are talking about the unlawful. Investigate that. True or false?
Official investigation, no.
Under the rules of the army, wouldn't it have been necessary that that matter be investigated and the facts established?
Those who were involved, Musa Jammeh and others.
Just answer my question.
They were told to the military police to give their statements.
There was no investigation.
No, for direct investigation, no.
And that was wrong.
It could be wrong.
Could be wrong or was wrong?
Okay, was wrong.
Right. So just the same way, that same person who was involved in the execution of Almamo Mane, Usman Sonko, was also involved in this.
The fact that was done under his command or him through himself is responsible.
And on this particular occasion, with the Ghanaians or with the West Africans, you all details, but you knew these people were executed. That was true, correct?
Just said you suspected that these people were killed. If I know, I should be able to provide a list of names. You know that something has gone terribly wrong.
You kept a blind eye. You knew that the Ghanaians were being misled.
Yenyi lonne ko Ghanaian keta moler me alon ko ye
investigations.
yenyi lonne ko Manzakunda membe nunjang imangani hamo sota pour ka impota ka kisi.
We said that a fish rots by the head. So if the head does whatever.
And it stunk very badly.
Yes.
Ah.
But in utter silence.
Albetu ta daring.
And misled the whole world about what has happened.
Le dunia be feeling the cool la me alon ko cool lata nyameng.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's being exposed.
Aketanu ngole nyama barisa fela be wanyari kan.
And you were all just interested.
Put it off. Let me just.
Just hand it over. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just hand it over.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
What was your question?
My question is, all of you just kept silent. You were only concerned about preserving yourselves and your positions. Have no further questions.
Let me respond. What would be your reactions if you were in that position?
I will resign, Baboucar. I will not be part of the murder of people.
Hold on a second, please. We will go on. Thank you, Council, and thank you, Mr. Jatta, for your testimony.
Okay.
Yaman ko inumbara council inumbara ba Mr. Jatta ya said and the
To take some, among others.
Okay.
Niata come again?
2 takes, and among others that I gather from his testimony, from your testimony.
Kuma kan men kafu nyoma kuma kan folo nyi be men fole ba ha nga to nyaandile.
Test number 1.
Koto bor fula nyawni.
For take number 1, sorry.
Take number 1.
Folo nyi kuma kan folo nyi.
That the state of the Gambia
bankola al halo be nyamen
sanctioned the extrajudicial killing
Kangodi
by agents of the state from State House.
On
the instruction from the President of the Republic, Yaya Jammeh. Do you confirm that?
Yes, that
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for confirming that.
The mere fact that the matter was not investigated.
Yeah, thank you.
Chairman, just give me time. And the fact that we all suspected that it came from the State House.
State House.
We have the fear. A unit for that purpose was definitely wrong. I have said that in the TRRC, the Second Republic was marked by civil disobedience.
Masakunda fulanjango amunta kans sombalia doku la karola.
We overthrew a constitutionally elected government.
Ngaman sakunda membo indi mole karteo faika asindi.
And what did you expect?
Oto sila beji kila munela.
Well, the president couldn't trust the Senegalese government.
President manjiki Senegal in la malela.
They don't trust one another.
Anything
that comes from that end is crisis.
Thank you very much. As I said, I was just seeking confirmation of my of the first take. The second take from your testimony.
An
elaborate scheme to cover up the crime.
Londi me ya lonko masiba jawo menke ke alkunutoti wala kanu moluma.
With the
Kabonna canton in Tankada Karola.
Would you confirm that take from your testimony today?
Febo fanang sahayan dilale la CDR kono bi.
These are 2 takes among others that I'm not doing. I just want to make sure that we have this for the record, that my council is taking you.
Kenema I long left olela wala nga nyininka.
Let me just add something to it.
Mbadunga dola faje.
Chairman, initially when we were in the army,
Chairman follow birindunda sojariat.
Whatever goes wrong,
akotobo
with the course of action.
Wala nyanta munekela.
This is what I used to do with my deputies, especially Samsidin, Lieutenant Colonel Samsidin Sir. When we gave her back, things have changed. You see, our security and help the man. You allow the man to do everything by himself. Oh, sir, there's an attack from that end. He has to do all the analysis, the president. Pressure started mounting. When I went to the interior, I would have relieved him of all this problem to operate as we used to do in the army. This is one major factor why things couldn't move as it should. Bring a young man, a major from the army, to lead those senior officers in the police. I refused. Let the police manage themselves. If they had been listening to me, although I'm not that much great, I would have a plan on how to handle these issues. What is most important is analytics.
Yeah, thank you very much. But there is another initiative in the pipeline on security sector reform. Whatever reform recommendations we come up with, maybe we will touch on this, but there is an entity that's involved in security sector reform matters.
I omitted to ask.
Please go ahead, Council.
You mentioned Balo Kante.
At the time of their arrest, we do not know who attacked us.
Did you go to the NIA to see Balo Kante?
I visited them to see who these people are.
Who did you go with?
No, I went alone with my orderly. And I was given Jobate to take me around and see.
The senior officers?
No, it was my deputy, some citizens who worked with Colonel Baji, President Security Advisor.
Did you hear about what happened there when they visited?
Yes, he himself has apologized for kicking Balo. But they used to give me updates.
And Balo Kante was tortured, wasn't he?
Balo Kante ya tajiriya.
Baboucar, there is nothing like a small kick.
He apologized.
It was uncivilized behavior.
Well, you see,
Was
the purpose of
Balo Kante was being tortured at the time, wasn't he?
well, he said he was tortured at the NIA, but I thought that was wrong. We want information from them. And the only way to get information from a prisoner of war is the assurance that he would be alive.
Was he in fact a prisoner of war?
Every category, yes. When he was being picked,
He was just a captured criminal.
No. At the point of contact where he said he was picked up, there was some shooting with the company led by Peter. They go to Farafenya. I got an information that we've shot a civilian.
We have all those details. All I wanted to know was what happened at the NIA.
Okay.
And just like you have described it, Mr. Sarr has also confirmed in social media, well, allegedly confirmed on social media, that he kicked Balo Kante. And the description is minimized, but Balo Kante said he was brutally beaten by Mr. Sarr. So,
yes.
But for whatever it is, he did hit Mr. Kante, and that was unlawful.
Yes.
Did you reprimand him?
I'm saying.
Yes.
He has apologized.
Did you reprimand him?
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the right thing to do?
I told him that you don't do this.
So that's a reprimand.
No, reprimand means for us, as far as we can say, punishment.
No, that's a reprimand too.
Okay, all our reprimand is you do something else, we reduce your seniority.
That's a demotion.
Means of punishment. We reduce your seniority. We cut your pay.
Okay.
Creating offenses.
Okay.
You'll be charged and taken before the commanding officer. He'll find you guilty.
Okay.
You know, then they will deduct your pay.
But you know that was conduct that was unbecoming of an officer.
Yeah, but he came to me and he was...
Don't answer the question.
For sure. I'm trying to also connect.
That is conduct that was unlawful.
That's unlawful, but he accepted it. And I called the DG. I said, sorry, This was not what should have happened.
Thank you.
We should trust you people, and we can't come in and start interfering with you.
Thank you.
You called a meeting to say sorry to whom?
To the DG, those investigating the NIA,
Not to Balokante.
through the DG, but not to Balakant. Chairman, at that point in time, we were very much annoyed with these people. The only thing is we should not do much about it, because what I told Peter, get them alive. When they went into the guard room, we had an RPG to blow that guard room. Our armory is next to the guard room. The bombs will be landing in town.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. No, she wasn't asking. Yeah, Commissioner Carr? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Samba, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Chairman.
Baboucar.
Baboucar.
Nte lafta men fole wala minti ko foybe tubi saynola ni mol men fata ila mol ye pour ye yamfe.
But I want to tell you, will you apologize to the people whose relatives were killed here?
Certainly, I will do that. Why? For the Ghanaians. Ghanaians were my mentor in the name of Mr. Pastor Dongkong of the Glory Baptist. He did everything to help me when I was fired from my job. When you go to the Ghana town, I gave them IDs. And I know Pastor, one old man there, the one we knew since we were young. I've forgotten the name. That was why after this event, during the AU fight them for the trauma they went through. So it was like some element of sympathy at one side. We do communicate. The old man's name, he's late now, he's called Akwasi. You know, we certainly, anytime you mention the Ghanaians, we do get panic. The statement I made on this recording, we deported them. In fact, it was as a result of some little bit of anger that came from Addis. Every day, BABOUCAR JATTA le mofa.
Every day, BABOUCAR JATTA has killed somebody.
Towards then, I was not even going to. I don't have Facebook. I don't want to deal with this thing. We were expecting the investigators. Because during one of our briefings with the president, there was an envoy sent to the Gambia. That was when the president told me that this investigation is going to go to do everything for them. If they are interested in some information from your end. And as when they come, he said they will come. That was when we crisis. So we were very worried. I have a serious apology to the Ghanaian community. I will certainly apologize.
Njikita wala bake because nimfaro membeketa.
I really hope on that because all these killings was not done in your absence.
Because
when these people landed here,
as
we heard,
all those
who visited, who went there, had this information that these people are migrants. So if someone goes there, 1, 2, up to 3 people, and the same thing was said to all of them,
I tell me mukebati ngami na tel fana nyanta tala la kebali yale kaitandi la ko nyin manke kele lalti nyin mu migrants soleti mel yalan ko nyanta tala ila kulum stock tajulat.
So all of you leaders who were involved should have gone to your main
ama atel dam mangol lebe nyo bayindi kang palasola.
But how I see things, how things went in those days where you people were after one another because of positions.
Because Yaya Jammeh be dame mbambo me alon ko konkole bala ni momo bulada ko na ba kununale.
Because Yaya Jammeh at that time was a hungry crocodile. Whatever happens to go into his mouth, he will swallow.
Altel fana mantara oto al nyanta tubi sayla le because ntel fana gambiano be nyanta tubi sayla foreign national le because nka fole ko aliye foreign national le haya wolle kana mol fa yara fan atel fang me yalon ko al mu gambia dingol leti al mun na bakilin fakilin nyol leti atel fang le ka mol fa.
So we should apologize to foreigners because what we thought initially was that foreigners would, so this is why you should apologize.
This is
what I can tell you. I don't know what you have to tell me.
Madam, what you have said is just right.
Madam.
In every situation, we should be very transparent with what we do. But sometimes when you observe, why this case?
But
only one case. Migration matters affairs. But if something happens and a drastic step has been taken, it resonates into the security, not council. All soldiers will frustrate you in the barracks. And if you give the soldiers the course to analyze what their bosses were doing, we were supposed to go to Farafenni to fight these rebels. I had to go myself to Yundum Barracks to convince the soldiers to go.
Some are saying, you want to do, if things go wrong, you want to leave it in our hands.
So our protection also should come from the top.
So, until Fanala Cantaro, Nintanko, and Tabolanan,
and I still German take over, barracks remain.
Including soldier fata, soldier do a palasota, auto, soldier corda tutaje.
System Olamanta Nyama, the same system did not go correctly.
Amonta Kulu Lanya le Mantama Anyama.
And every day,
and Lulu,
when this system started coming up, panic.
Bringing Koda Katama.
You feel panic.
I
only hope my name will not be mentioned.
Banke,
we talk about it. But if we had done it right, maybe today there will be a tap on our back to say, well done. Look at the case of Lajola.
Lajola la Kojibe.
Radios from the ports. But at the end of the exercise, President Watt came here and decorated every Navy officer.
President Wadanata Janna, Sojar Bakono Sojarul Ayebe, Womunya Jairoleti, Yanta Kelanu Nyama.
But then, if anger leads,
we
are very sorry.
Between Ako Sangara Tabari Hacket, Madam Inumbara Ilanin Karoto.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinte, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Kinte Laftanin Karo Kela.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Baboucar.
Assalamu alaikum. Came to understand here is the list is more than what has been said.
And kulungo fanan kono momen to fota ko ya konti ya kunna konti o fanan siya bata listotil.
And those people who were on board the ship, the amount of people who were counted is also more than what was 67.
Bari kaito mem bara wala account talulu ni fulate manyosa bobe hold.
But the amount of people we got from the Bara was 51, 52. This is what was Rava said. It was 51. That's very clear because the names were written and the origin, the countries, the 6 people. That you have got a list. Is that what you really said, 36 people?
When I
was given that 36.
And the first one team followed in.
That was the first list which was given to me.
And but list on that for 40.
I cannot remember all the names.
Hence, they said these people were scattered in Bara and they were arresting them. So I assume that the information was coming whenever they arrest Adil. But now, I was telling Esa, I was shocked. I was really shocked. That list has gone to that stage. No, this is serious. Service chiefs, ibe danaka ibe beno poro to le biribe nyuno bondila kulunkono ke sambananduma.
I also came to understand that all the service chiefs were at the port when these people were disembarking from the ship coming to shore.
Baita kame itandi na wala mnyinte ko ite mantara kala mutare mfanko service chief nyolbo tole foi o mol receive anina de la nyameng imam fengo fen longol.
But what you are telling us is that you don't even know, you were not aware that the service chiefs were at that port and receiving these people. You were not even aware of what was going on there.
No. Now my commissioner to jam.
I had it at the commission here.
Usman did not tell me that he did not tell me that he was at the Navy headquarters.
Usman amafanya katebe na bako no sojaro la kordato no.
Now I am convinced
Barsa in lata la ko.
The president was informed prior to me talking to the president.
Ye nyinki baro di president wala hani janninte nga kuma faye.
Because the president nata murun kang.
Because if the
president come back to me,
if the president nata murun te kang
to ask me about that migrants, when I have given a wrong figure, I'll hold my service responsible. This is the situation. They were hiding from us. Anyway, let me say they were hiding from me. Because they said I'm too mouthy. It was not like Mauti keeping on state secrets.
But it is listo men soto woto ye o soto no nyadi le bilika kulu maboma ite nata harje nyadi le fo o listo soto tansa bani woro anata tafo tanani animfula.
How did you get that list? As far as you said that they were hiding things from you, how did you get that 36 list, which later on added up to 46? How did you get that?
Yeah, NDEA, National Drug Enforcement Agency, and the baby barrel fane personal store jail. So they are linked to their boss. Immigration is linked to their boss too.
Immigration and NDEA.
So I will always take the highest figure.
I saw
that that's increment going, but at certain state it stopped. And honestly, when I had that paper in hand, I was waiting for the IG to submit his. It never happened.
I followed him. I tried with him.
But then, unfortunately, this is what we face at the ministry. When you talk to other ministers who came before me, they also tell you their own problems. I think if it had past this moment, there would be no need for an interior minister. The president will be the interior minister and the minister of defense.
President Damang, Afansike Minister Timem Marta Banco Cancola and in Canton in Tanko.
Enyum panam poko imalo nunko be kairaba anendula kotengolto barila kumul kono koteke inata poko ila kalamuta robe jile ko benun police lines, either new or old lines.
You said you were not aware of these people being at the Kairaba station, but in your narration you said you were aware that they were at certain police stations around, at certain places. You said that in your narration.
No, police.
All and new. And police at the police line, all and new police line.
Inatana kato kila banka long many be police line. Jellemu anila Kenya benyadi.
Did you later try to find out those at the police line? What was their condition and what was going on?
And what number?
And what number?
Ima kalamta imam feng fonyade. Bare Ghanaian Foreign Affairs Minister nata jang.
I wasn't aware. They didn't tell me anything until
I
when
went
the
with
Ghanaian
George
foreign minister
Christensen to
came
meet
here.
the president.
Then I met George Christensen.
I was in the
to meet
country.
President. I was in the
I was not invited. They called the IGP.
The IGP Lekili.
I think George was also running his investigation. I should think so.
This
is where they said that there were some Ghanaians at this police line. When George came out of the meeting, he called me. He said, well, we expect you to be here. What's that? He said, our foreign affairs minister is here. He had just talked to the president. I said, if I'm not invited, well and good. He said, talk to the IGP. We have some men at the police line. Let me say police line. I don't know which one is one. And he's here to pick them. The IGP went and handed it over to them. When he came, I waited for days. He did not tell me anything. I called him. IG. Why I was not detained at the police line. He told me that the Ghanaian minister came to appeal on their behalf and they have handed all of them. I said, how much? He did not give me a figure. What's the list of names? He did not give us it. I said, how can we then identify these are Ghanaians? There could be this sub-regional personnel who could communicate in Ghana. In Ghanaian language. Nothing. I said, okay, you can go back. I was really frustrated.
Bari woto akamunte ka punyele ko mo balure ngolu sototale Gambia man sakunda menu di Ghana man sakunda la pour essayer.
Correct. Is it so, which means that there were people who were not executed, who were alive and were finally handed over to the Ghana government?
It's in my statement.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, yes. Because
what we came to understand, according to the information here,
Gambian agent in contact no.
Because the three people who initially left the boat to go and buy a SIM card so that they can contact their Gambian counterpart.
Labang we nata wala lubula samba for border or whatever itata Senegal. In Senegal.
Finally, I think those people were taken to the border and were released, and they went through Senegal.
But hani bi kachamang memo madunda Ghana government bulu kata kachama for sako asi hapo fono.
But still, up to this point, the people who were handed over to the Ghana foreign minister, who went along with them, it has not been mentioned in any statement, or nobody has talked about it, or even to know the amount of people who were handed over.
And in Christian temo, ika itendi na nyame wala mnyente ate la no soto e ndunga damada manu ibebula la kuolu konole ke bondi benduto.
And between you and Christensen, you didn't give us anything, and maybe he would have involved you in whatever was going on so that everything will come out clearly.
Iman kibari so that fanambulu nimole memo ma beni yola yedi Ghana man sakundala mo jellem.
Didn't you get any information from him to know that how many people were handed over and whether as far as they were alive?
And ikeni Ghana town called Temo for Nyame, ini Temo. Wala fo man kibar soto to fanam bankalo ye mo kende jelle di Ghana la Gambia man sakunda mendila pour ye murunde Ghana.
Didn't you get any information about the number of people who were handed over to the minister to go along with them back to Ghana?
That's
what I was saying.
Level. It got to a stage, whatever they told me, I did not believe.
If these were people who were migrants and were arrested and were documented, you went down there, how the handing over happened, I don't know.
ye saundi nyamin ke bondi buluto ke dundi buluto malo ngaketa nyamin.
He said here they have gone with the Ghanaian Foreign Affairs Minister. I
By
said, by
men-
how?
I am-
By air or by land?
Ako le dron ko ye di Ghana la minister la membe ni bantala bankolu tema. Nka e nyadi itata nyadi le kuluntila la lomba mfosila juma.
List, even the list
Hani utolu
was not
soketa.
recorded.
Hani tolu
It
menu
was
soketa.
recorded too. But he said no. He just went and he told the police, let them go. He
Ako
hand
hani
them over.
nka e nyanta safela le ako hani hani.
Just like that.
Ne di police wala. Nka e je wonya dron ako ha.
That's it.
So mo nanga mo ite mo lon bunda o bundala.
You don't know
He came out
the exact number of individuals involved.
Barakaba.
Thank you.
Yeah, they don't hide away from me.
Ike nunte male.
Thank you, Bishop. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. BABOUCAR JATTA,
Numbara chairman Mr. BABOUCAR JATTA.
did I hear you well
Fonga moele kuke bang.
that when the IGP Usman Sonko
Biring IG Usman Sonko.
informed you about the incident,
Ay nyung mo fe kanyang kibaro foye.
you asked him whether the president is aware. Did I hear that well?
Yes.
Ya nyinen ka fo president buta kala male ngaw mo ya nyale mabang aketa wala nyama bang.
As Minister of Interior,
Minister me marta banko kan kunyala.
why should such an incident be reported to the president?
Nana kumembe ko nyinga keta nyami muna na ibofu la president we.
Sometimes you wonder how things were going. But I said so.
Tumodo li ka jakalle kulu bitaka nyami
The
bari na
president knows more than I do.
president we mello wala siata ntela londo.
There were incidents when he would question me in cabinet about certain things.
Katu ko dolu bija ka nyinin ka cabinet fong bunda la ko dolu la.
He was saying that you are not monitoring things. I said, how can I monitor when a person who cannot even do this job is in the forefront?
Ako nyinin ka ibuka kulu no masata. Anka mbe okela nyadi le nimmo be nyato me ya lon ko amankulu kala ngolong.
Let me quote one incident.
Mbatu nga ku killing fojang menketa.
I told the IGP I would need a report of all the crimes in the country quarterly.
Nganyim fo nene nganyim fo IG ko kukurung lumen ka bakke banko kan mbesula lele ke yiriko long karisaba wo karisaba.
First 3 months gone.
Karisaba follow tamita.
He gave me 3 series of 300 and something.
Ay yiriko mendina kemesaba nimfeng.
6 months later,
Kari woro kola
the report I get had an addition of only 7 people.
nga la faro men soto je wala mo woro wulati.
But when I went to the presence of, I met at the president of the cabinet, he gave me the full report.
Bar birim benta president of office to cabinet bendula we ko lu kibaro ay de dinale.
I saw that and I called him. He said that was a mistake.
Alumbiri nga jenga command nga nyinin ka ako mu filo leti ala karola.
One thing I will understand,
Kukilin si o fahamu.
when they are under me in the army,
Ni bente ko tumo ben na sojar bundala.
I will never give 1 inch.
Ndani simfa kilintala.
In the case of Almamo,
Almamo la karola.
he took all the property,
Ayo fengulu beta.
thinking that he's going to divide it between the wives.
Ka foko mbita nyintalala ala musolle tema.
Binta came to me to complain about Sonko's case.
Bintana tante ya kana wasinye sonko la barola.
And I warned him, I don't want to hear you talk about this. This is the case of we're either going to go to the Kadi or we apply the military rule. Get out of this matter.
Andunga dandala le kunyinku abita kadile ya wala ni sojar silo lonsiota.
There were incidents the president, as state guard commander, said the president gave us some 200,000. He took 50,000 out of it.
Silo dolso na president we wuli keme fula dinna menu ya lonko leba ala bunda ala duko la kantarola. Ate kun kilimo dalas wuli tallu letaje.
Not knowing that I'm going to send a receipt.
Amalo tumo kontenyan tamberi sito kilale.
When the receipt went, it was proven.
Biri risito tata ya tambindi ya londi.
The president said, let him leave the state house.
President Ukai Bo State House.
He said I should fire him. I said, no, wait.
Konyanta bailale nko hani mbatu.
We collect the money and reprimanded him.
Ngakodo tabulu ngadoya.
But it did not take long when he said he wants Sonko back.
But amani medro ngate president
So
kilole
they see
muruta nang
me
ako
as somebody who was totally against them.
ako nga sonko muruta
While I'm
nang
trying to put them
atemen ko
through.
ngabai. Amunda yende jele ko dron konte mu moleti membe balanding ibulu.
So many incidents also happened with the NI. As colleagues, I went down to them to tell them that this is wrong. The late Marina was telling me that don't you know that even the president, I have his documents. I said, how about the accounts? So we were always at war. Our heads were hit together. Anyway, did I answer your question?
Well, it's very disheartening to know that people that are in positions of authority could simply not perform their duties satisfactorily. And the case of the migrants is one point. Because there was no need for the matter to be taken to the president. This was a simple thing of, people who were dumped due to no fault of theirs in a foreign land. These people, at least that they should have deserved from this land was protection. It's so sad to hear that people in positions of authority are not capable to perform their duties.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Sometimes, let me answer to that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought
sometimes when you look at the system, by virtue of our appointments, and you wonder why this particular case. We have been deporting them. We've never had an incident of murder and so on. Why this particular case? I am 100% sure. I doubt the security chiefs. Somebody had to tell the president that these are mercenaries. 1995, when Naisise was the DG immigration, some South Africans came here with a DC-9, came with black hats and hoods. They landed at the airport. We were alerted. So they are here for business. Whom do you know here to lead you? These are all able and fit young men. Sorry. Have to leave. The president was in Nigeria. Wrong information was given to him. I don't know by whom. They were orchestrating for the dismissal of the DG immigration. It was cancelled. The DG did nothing. We were alerted. But you see how decisions have been taken. Decisions are not taken in the right manner. You see, those very sealed and allow them to do their job. There is no sign and symptoms of these Ghanaians being combatants. Why this time? At the end of the washing matters, leave this with us and you see what's going to happen. We will give them medical treatment because some of them were very tired. And feed them. Finance money to feed them. We'll consult the embassy or consul. We will process you and give you residential status. That will running around trying to but under these circumstances, there was no command and control over the forces. Every security service is acting on its own. Every security sector is acting on their own. National security level. Then we would have fought away. But in the absence of this, chaos and confusion. Now look at our image has been dented. TRRC. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And before I give the floor to Imam Jallo, did you say that you suspected some security officers must have been the ones to tell Jammeh that the migrants were mercenaries?
I should think so, because who is sending this information to him? It's not the police or the IG who has access. It could also be the IG. We don't know who was given information. Sorry. The other time I came to the TRRC, we had a short, please share that. Because I was pursuing one answer, question and answer. For how many years? But here it leaked.
Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Imam Jallo,
Thank you, Chair. Witness.
Said.
All the service chiefs, they cannot be rebels. But you deliberately shut your eyes and saw them massacred in the forest in the Gambia. Now, what do you think is rational for this? We have several murder. I want you to tell me if there is any other possibility of another intention for murdering these innocent citizens. It is definite that these people are not.
Thank you, Commissioner. There was no spirit of ritual killing. But I can tell you, out. But when Balekanta and others were arrested, others were also handed over when there was no extradition treaty between us and the Gambia.
But what do you mbalo kante mutana nyol ye mutale purke seni na banko kan ayatara hani femmantara je mi alonko wele safe kaita ne ko gameni banko kotangol tema ye sembo de la police momur ni na nay ku jawke.
I have also mentioned that
it
could be an operation that went once they were exposed. The whole thing took a different turn. I don't know. I was just trying to imagine. But I have the belief. We went by our heart and not the head. That has given us ample problem. I cannot steal. Figure out. People who have no characteristics of an armed attack. They don't even have identification of an identification to invite to identify one another. Arrested by few police officers when they have outnumbered them. And it looks like they are also trying to sort for an assistance from the police. Who knows? And where did they end up? After that, what happened? Why didn't they hold the others who were coming and slaughtered them? Because this migration problem was a big problem for everybody. And who are always at the lead? We, the security. They're also part of migrants. You know, they leave the job, they will not inform the authority. So this is one problem.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Commissioner Carr.
Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank
you, Mr. Jatta, for your testimony before this commission.
The
first question I want to ask you is along the lines of the answer you gave to one of Commissioner Samba's questions. You mentioned that somehow anger led in how the issue of the Ghanaians was dealt with.
Where
was this anger from?
This anger must have touched the president. One, he doesn't trust the Senegalese. And to Washington matter, whoever tells the president these are mercenaries has caused a serious problem. And he acted. Look at what happened during 11 November. You see, once you start killing, once you kill one figure, you will kill two. You will kill three. You become a serial killer. And if nothing comes out of it, you will continue killing.
Do I take it that you mean anger was always one of the reasons how that influenced how Jammeh dealt with issues?
Inability to take the right decision. You see, as a head of an institution, all we need from you is ideas and decisions. When something happens, you take your time. These people cannot, even if they are mercenaries, they have failed. If they had used this diplomatically against whether Senegal or Ghana or Togo, we would have got a tap on our back. But decision matters at the head of everything. Because information will be coming that would some information would satisfy you. Others would be bitter. So now, to read between the lines, whoever is in the head, you are on your own. You must decide and decide fast. And your decision must be decisive. But well, if that is lacking, those who are holding you fast, you say that's straining you. You will have the other people who will take care of you.
Ya jela ibe modol soto mi be marela kual.
Now, although we know the security is committed to this,
Ya long saying alon ko tanko bunda ibe lori nyen kuala.
they fail to play their role as usual.
Imela do ko ke ko nyanta ka.
Now they have packed the pack on the Jammeh's head. How can he take this off his head? That's why I say in everything that we do, decision matters. Did I answer your question? Okay.
The next one is, I have several questions, but let me just end here with this question. What's your biggest takeaway?
Muna mwila kuba nyinko nyimbe kono muna kuba mi alon ko eni ibe wala tala eni o membida
nimiso regret
nimisa da.
And what do you regret?
nimisa ta munela akokono.
I regret that I have never been given the chance.
Nimisa da bina wala ina ma wato dina.
And the bulk of the problem has been thrown to us.
I am
100% sure that if you ask Jammeh what happened, you will also push the problem to the security. Now who is going to carry the load? Him. He's the head of this country. He's the head of the security, commander-in-chief. If they had arrested some of us for giving the wrong decisions and taking the wrong actions, we will all straighten up. But whatever wrong thing you take, for some bodies. But if others do the thing, discharge them, arrest them, others under the corridor of power, they were given the liberty to do anything. Is that not the case with the junglers? There was a time they went to Senegambia, started causing big trouble there, stopping everybody.
What is that Senegambia?
That was when I was out of the service. Drinking, smoking, or jump anywhere they want. Was that right? No. Carrying weapons all over. That was wrong. So somebody would have put his foot down. Control that. All cost. We have told them that this is, we would not allow this. We took the risk. Something went terribly wrong. Like he told me that I have to sort it out. I said, sorry, I cannot. I got fired from the army. I do not regret it. Because mentally I was so tired. Physically I'm going into this place.
Thank you. I hope your experiences would be a lesson for all of us, especially for those who are serving in the security forces. And thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jatta. If you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed. Imam C, you have the floor. I've indicated that earlier.
Imam Sile left Kenyininka.
Koto Baboucar jërëjëf.
Thank you, Koto Baboucar. We are thanking you for giving your testimony here. I have believed that you are not wicked somebody. But you are very slow.
Wow, ñu ngi lay gërëm bu baax a baax man nag am naa laaj bu ma bugg a laaj waaye council laa ko bugg a laaj.
We are thanking you, and also I have a question to ask, but I want to ask the council.
mooy affaire Ghanaian yi.
That is about the Ghanaians.
amoon nañ fi lim juróom benn fukki nit ak lu tegal.
They have mentioned here almost about 51 people, 61 people.
ñaareel bi dégg am nañ fi lim bi nga xamante ne 51 ñooñu des nañ fi ci Gambie.
And also the second list is we have about 51 who are in the Gambia here.
Seen des bi itam déggoon nañ am na juróom-ñetti ñu ñu reyoon Brufut.
And also the remain is we had that there were about 8 people that were murdered in Brufut.
Am nañ 9 yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi ko suuloon foofu ci boori guy googu.
And also there were 9 people who were buried beside the tree.
If you reccoon itam am na juróom-ñetti nit ñu àndoon ci àll bi.
And also the one who has escaped along with 8 more people.
Dégg nañ itam am na juróom-benn yu nga xamante ne ñibbi nañ Sénégal.
And we also had that there were 6 people who has returned to Senegal.
Am na ñi nga xamante ne itam atte nañ leen ku fi waxoon démb moom dañ ko atte woon ba mu delluwaat.
And also there were people who were taken to court and especially there was one who gave testimony yesterday.
Léegi man xam naa ne su fekkente ne leerul ma li ma bëgg a xam mooy ndax 51 yooyu yëpp fii ci Gambie lañ des ak ñoom naka lañ desee parce que lim biñ dégg ne matut 50 yu dee.
What I want it to be clear to me is that the 51 people the 51 people that were the 51 Ghanaian people, where they remain in the Gambia, and if in the event that they remain in the Gambia, how were they able to remain in the Gambia here?
Léegi ñi ci des ba nga xamante ne mat na 51 ñu dee ñoom laa man bëggoon a xam naka la lim bi demee.
Also the remaining ones, that is 51, I want to know how that list took effect.
Parce que seen jàppa bi ñu wax na ñii am na ñu nekkoon police ñii am na ñu nekkoon Kairaba ñii demoon nañ kër Baba Job ñi fu ne.
Because what happened is those people who were apprehended, it was mentioned that they were taken to, some were taken to Baba Job's residence, some were taken to the police.
Lola don't like.
This is the question I want to ask.
Perhaps the best thing would be to answer this question after the lunch break.
Lui gen moy pour ñu laajte tontu sa laajte bii nii.
suñ delsee suñ añee ba delsi ma tontu laajte bi.
Commissaire mo min kala ni mbota nan konton lan sinela ñinin karo ñi jaabi.
Laajte bu important la.
Ila ñinin karo ñi nga kumata bakale.
Am na solo lool.
Kumata bakale.
Suñ delsee dinaa ko tontu parce que def nañ tojat nañ ko ba xam mbir mi nim tëddee.
Nim murtanan sa jaabi katu ko nga ko ñimbe nga kono jibele nga long mum abelare ñami.
Council, I'll grant your wishes. I thought we were going to finish with the witness here and then get the other one to come, and we conclude that one perhaps in a very short session. But is it really your wish, to continue with this witness and answer Imam Sizama questions? And do you intend to bring the second witness in the afternoon? That may not be possible. If we come back, we probably would just stay with you answering Imam Sizama question. Anyway, give me some indication.
I think we can take another witness, Mr. Chair, the IGP, just to tender the diaries, and then we leave it at that.
That would be a short one.
Yes, could be a short one. Would be a short one.
Yeah, fine. Then we can take the lunch break now, and they come back at.
He has to. You had given him the opportunity to say a few words.
Oh,
but
yeah,
this would be his third bite at the cherry, so he better makes it short.
So
thank you.
Okay, so Imam Sama answer would be with Jatta not around. Okay,
yes, after lunch.
Splendid, splendid.
Thank you.
Mr. Jatta.
Time is yours.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead if you have.
Do I have to answer his question?
Yes, indeed.
What did you, please repeat it. I will
no,
the question was not addressed to you. It was addressed to the
I was addressed to you.
Council.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Chairman, thank you very much.
Chairman,
you are welcome.
For this gathering. Well, This is a lesson for all of us.
Ya jele nyin kete fenete mi akete karam bundal tin tolbe.
For every Gambian.
Gambia dingo be.
And most affected are with the security.
Andung ay mil batandi bake wole ndol tanka milbe tanko bundato.
You see, resignation always as ESA would like it to be was never the option.
Ya jele komi ka foke fonyo do kola komi ESA ka o mem foten o mo fenete mi alanka ko kolya.
At difficult moment,
ya je watum na kulbe kolyare
stand firm.
Inyanta lola la watu la bambang.
I'll come a time.
Watu binale.
Things will be very easy.
Kulbe sone ala bakel.
Atrocities were committed very seriously.
Masiba kul keta janne bakefa.
This issue of Ghanaian was never ever coordinated or controlled.
Ya jele nying Ghanaian no la karola fenne mi alonko imam mara wala ka tamande ko ma nyanta tamala nya.
We do not wish
malla finu
to see ourselves exposed like this.
Komi yem fintindi ka wanyar komi aketa nyamin.
But as soldiers,
bar komi sojaro lanti.
We have one rule.
Ya je sata kilimbembulu.
If you use us for an illegal order,
yaje nienta yem munafanna ka yamar yembula yamar la miyan ko anin luwa manta.
We will show you the way why we can lick.
Mbasilo itandila mbo wa ko wanyara no nyami.
I have discussed with the ESA.
Yaje ni ESA kachata.
We said this, the illegal orders that administers the armed forces, where at one time they can say, you are going to go to the Supreme Court based on the commanders-in-chief's decision are murder, treason, rape, terrorism.
Yajele wo watu minka kanum back. Yaje ese sino de ko bite dam ko la Supreme Court le. Ni taraje ese tumi komi yem mole fa ngani o kay pareta ka mo fa ya mari fa. Aninka masakunda bwendi. Anin fana ka nyapinka mo kan komi muso ka nyapinka ngakan.
Even these junglers, if you talk to them, they were not happy with killing. And if a soldier kills, he will make sure he leaves a trail behind. Now, how did some of these people escape like that without being killed? That is why to be firm and fair, it's always the rule of thumb. Otherwise, you'll be exposed. You think that we are doing this on the cover. We are not. We are on the world's camera.
No,
let's hope that this is a traumatic moment for the security. Not only do we have to apologize to the Ghanaians, we have a lot more to apologize. You know, we've committed so much atrocities. We couldn't even account for it. Now, our case has passed the TRRC now. Our case is in the hands of the Lord. We may ask for forgiveness. Because whatever we do, if we don't tell the TRRC, it will always be in the heart. It will never come out. Let me quote an incident. Musa Jamme, Malia Mungu. He met me at a point. He told me, look at me. This court martial every day, Musa Jamme. On the whole, it was taken on his toe. Drinking. He was not cancelled. So we are most affected. And we want to thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
for bringing us there to at least investigate such issues. My best regards goes to everybody in Ghana, anywhere ever the Ghanaians and other Senegalese. Senegalese were there, Nigerians were there, and as part of those killed, or they have escaped or be released. The mere fact that we put them under trauma, I would like to say we are very sorry.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Jatta.
Mr. Jatta.
And so do you have any procedural matters to raise before we take a break?
Yes, I would like to ask that the video that I showed of the interview between Mr. BABOUCAR JATTA and Mr. Omar Wali be exhibited as Exhibit 202.
202?
Yes.
Okay, splendid. Thank you very much. My request granted. We will take a break and resume at 4 o'clock. Is that enough? Do we have enough time for that, Council, for the next witness?
Converge at 4, and I'll answer the question. We would have to check whether the IGP is still available.
Yes,
Our
indeed.
appointment with him was 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, that's what I thought. Okay, fine. We will resume at 4 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Jatta. Okay.